Hello everyone, my name is Taft with TRK Aquatics. Today I'm just going to go through with you a review of one of my now personal favorite filters, the sunsun filter. This one here is the largest model that they make. It's 525 gallons per hour and has several layers of filtration media for you. I'm going to set down the camera for a minute so I can pop this open. Okay, as you can see, there's where the media sits. I'll pull out each individual basket so you can see what's in them. Also, I'll tell you a little bit about what you can put in them, what you can add to them to increase your filtration level or decrease it, depending on what you want to do with your filter. If you look over here, we have the power head of the unit. This particular unit runs a UV sterilizer in it. It does have a switch on it for if you want to run it with or without that UV sterilizer. I prefer to use mine the moment that my water starts to turn a little green and I notice it, so that way I can have nice clean water and my African cichlids can be nice and happy. Set that aside real quick. So first off, when we open this up, you'll notice that there's a shell layer. This kind of helps keep everything in so the bio balls and the ceramic rings don't get pulled up into your filter and slow down your flow. My top layer, you'll see just some bio balls. Helps for good growth, lets everything grow real well. You will notice everything's a little bit dirty. I haven't cleaned this filter in a couple weeks, so it's pretty bad. I've got a lot of fish that are really messy. Pull out the next layer here. One thing that's great about the canister filters is they keep your water very, very clean. And you can set them up however you want, whether you've got problems with ammonia spikes in your tank or anything like that. These will help eliminate that. So as you can see here in this one, I've got ceramic rings. Lots and lots of ceramic rings. These are some smaller ones. They allow a little bit better flow. These are what came in it. When you purchase one of these filters, they come with 4 trays. Each tray containing a polishing pad. The top tray, of course, containing the bio balls. The mid tray containing the ceramic rings. Now I'll pull out the next layer for you so you can see that. Now I've made some adjustments to mine. They do come with 1 bag of carbon. I actually took my ceramic rings out of the bag they came in because I like to have nice even proportions on my stuff. So as you can see, very evenly spread. So in here, I've actually taken the bag that my bamboo carbon came in, or my ceramic rings came in, and put some of my bamboo carbon in there. So that way I can have bamboo carbon across the entire tank. So I'm only running 2 polishing pads in here. As you can see, mine is a little bit nasty. Let's pull that up into some better light so you can see that there. That's all of the stuff that this is pulled out. Keep in mind that filter was pearl white when I got it. Alright, the largest filter comes with 4 trays instead of 3. The next 2 sizes below it for the sunsun have 3 filter trays in them. I run a lot of fish in a 75 gallon tank, so I like to know that I've got plenty of filtration and that my cichlids are going to be happy. Have you take a look at my tank here. Lots and lots of African cichlids. I've got about 23 cichlids in this tank. Okay, so for the very bottom layer, we have another one of the polishing pads, as you can see there. Underneath the polishing pad, we have a blue foam. This also comes in the largest filter. All of the smaller filters only come with 3 of the 4 trays, and so you actually get 3 of the polishing pads and 3 sets of biomedia. So you'll have your carbon, you'll have your ceramic rings, and then you'll have your bio balls and your filter pads. So obviously, as you can tell, everything going through here has lots and lots of filtration. Gonna go ahead and set the camera down so I can put this pad back in. Alright, so let me explain a little bit of how this filter works and why I think it's such a great filter. I and a friend of mine, the other friend that runs TRK Aquatics on Facebook with me, we run 4 of these total. We used to run 3. I picked up another one for my 29-gallon cichlid tank. It holds all of my baby cichlids, and so I wanted something to keep them all healthy and active. The smallest one is 264 gallons per hour. So even the smallest one is very powerful. It's actually meant to power up to a 55-gallon tank. This very large one, the 525 gallon per hour, is meant for up to 115 gallons. So I am over filtering my tank, but remember with cichlids, you can almost never over filter. You can have very, very clean water and they'll be extremely happy with that. Okay, so the reason this works so well is if you look here, you can see the opening around the entire UV sterilizer light. The reason for that is when you put these stacks in, that's the inlet. So when you stack it, you'll put on that first layer, and it creates this tube and a cylinder all the way through. You can see there's a tube through it, and these trays are pretty thick. If you look real carefully and in a decent light, you can see there's actually a spiral shape in there as well to help the water flow down quickly and efficiently. You can see there, that's all of the stuff in 2.5 weeks that this filter is pulled out. I do also run a Fluval 305. It's a fantastic filter, don't get me wrong. However, this pulls by far more debris out of my tank than my Fluval ever has. So when you stack these filters, it's very important to remember that it would seem like you're stacking them backwards. Your large particle filtration, that blue pad and that first filter pad, is actually going to go in the bottom because everything goes down through these tubes and is pulled up from the bottom and goes up to the top where, as you can see here, the outlet is. The outlet on these runs a very, very powerful motor. They're a fantastic ceramic and magnetic brushless motor. They run perfectly quietly and they run extremely efficiently. I actually have seen a decrease in my power bill since I've gone to these filters versus a top load filter. So first with our stack, I'm going to put in my large media filtration. That is the blue sponge pad that originally comes with it. And a polishing pad. Now, like it says, this does come with a polishing pad for each tray. I only run 2 to increase filtration, and so that way I don't have to go order polishing pads as much. As you can see, these ones are demolished. It's time for me to order some new ones. So for the next tray out, well, sorry, the next tray in, it's going to be that carbon. Like I said, I split my carbon up into 2 bags. I like good coverage, so I know that everything going through here is going to get filtered through that carbon. Carbon is very important. It reduces the ammonia in your tank, so it is the chemical filtration in these filters. If you've ever run a top load filter, you'll notice the little pad has a little bit of carbon in it. These run a large quantity more carbon, which is very good for your tank. Better make sure I'm stacking these trays in here correctly. Looks like I am. Okay, what you're going to want to do is when you're putting these in, you can't see it real well, I know. You're going to want to make sure these trays secure together very well. They lock together and they work very well so long as they're locked together. Obviously, if your trays aren't locked together, as is the case with any filter system, you're going to get leakage into your trays, and then it's not going to filter that well because it's going to be pushing unfiltered water back into your tank, and nobody wants that. Everyone wants a clean, healthy, happy tank. I have a large amount of algae that grows in my tank, so I clean my filter about every 2 to 3 weeks. I'm a little OCD. You can run them longer than that. I just prefer not to because I like my filters to look presentable when I do these videos, and also so my water in my tank looks very nice. Alright, I'm going to put this power head back together for you, and I'm going to show you how it attaches to its valve for the tank. Okay, keep in mind this is a very large filter. This filter absorbs actually about 4.5 gallons of water out of your tank. To give you an idea of how large this filter is, this is a full-size aerosol spray can next to it. Looks tiny. That aerosol spray can is a 4-inch in diameter can. This filter is about 13 inches by 13 inches by 20 inches tall. It's a very large filter, but it works wonders. The smaller filter is about 10 inches by 10 inches by 16 tall. So it'll still run a 55, but it's much, much smaller. So I'm going to get this underneath my stand here so I can show you how the valve attachment works. Alright, so under a 75 tank stand, you can see not a whole lot of room in here. If I put my hand up next to the prime, there's about 4 inches between that filter and the top of my stand. Here's the valve quick connect. Sorry it's a little dark under there, guys, not very good lighting. And you'll notice it's a hole opening. This couldn't be simpler. Just take it, place it in that hole. I'm doing all of this one-handed with my left hand, keep in mind. Push it down in. I am right-handed, so doing this left-handed is a little more of a struggle. Now you'll see the lever in the middle pulled up. Grab that. Pull it down. opens up the valve. You can hear it running. Filter does prime itself so long as it is most of the way full. If not, you do have this primer button here. The primer button is just like the primer on a fluval. Just push down on it and it will prime. Gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a startup for you so you can hear how quiet this filter is. Matter of fact, my air bubbler is louder than this is. It will be loud at first. It's just kicking out the air out of the system. So there you go, you can hear it kicking the air out of the system. It does that automatically. And on top, there's a little cap here to turn on or off the UV sterilizer. Flip the switch on, and you have a window to see that your UV light is on. Still kicking what's left of the air out of it. Sometimes I like to rock it back and forth just a little bit, just to make everything clear out a little easier. So that is it for the sunsun filter in my review. Fantastic filter, good size, good power, keeps my tank extremely clean. I would show you how clean it keeps my tank. However, I did just clean out my tank, so it's really white. You can kind of get a look anyways. Good coloration. Once again, my name is Taft. I run TRK Aquatics Facebook page. We're just an information company that, well, not even really a company, just an information group that likes to inform you about African cichlids and keeping your freshwater aquariums maintained and clean. Thank you for watching.